Have you ever walked past an old, abandoned house and felt a shiver run down your spine? Not just from the cold, but from a feeling that something is watching you? We all have those places in our towns, the ones with boarded-up windows and overgrown yards, the ones that whisper ghost stories to anyone who dares to listen. Tonight, we're going to open the door to one such place, a house that looks ordinary on the outside, but holds a deeply unsettling secret within one of its rooms, a playroom, frozen in time, waiting for the clock to strike 12. The house on Elm Street was just another forgotten structure, its paint peeling like sunburnt skin. Locals would speed up as they drove by. Mothers would pull their children closer. They didn't know the specifics, only that the family who lived there, the Millers, had vanished overnight years ago. They left everything behind, clothes still in the closets, dishes in the sink, and upstairs, a playroom, untouched. This is where our story begins, with a group of urban explorers who thought they were just looking for a thrill. They got much more than they bargained for. The team, calling themselves Echo Finders, was led by a guy named Leo. With him were Maya, the tech expert with all the cameras, and Ben, the skeptic who was there to debunk everything. They had explored dozens of abandoned places, but the Miller house felt different. The air was heavy, thick with an unspoken sadness. After checking the lower floors, which were eerie but unremarkable, they found the stairs leading to the attic. But halfway up the flight was another door, small and painted with faded cartoon animals. The playroom. The moment Leo pushed the door open, a wave of cold air washed over them. It was strange, because the rest of the house was stuffy and warm. The room was a time capsule from the 1980s. A dusty rocking horse stood frozen mid-rock. A dollhouse sat in the corner, its tiny furniture perfectly arranged. And in the center of the room, a collection of toys. A teddy bear with one button eye, a set of wooden building blocks, a tin soldier, and a smiling jack-in-the-box. Maya set up her cameras, while Ben took out his EMF meter, expecting it to stay silent as usual. They decided to wait, to see if anything would happen. As the hours crept by, the house was silent. Ben was starting to get bored, whispering to Maya that this was another bust. Leo, however, felt a growing sense of dread. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. He kept looking at the toys, especially the teddy bear. Its single button eye seemed to follow him wherever he moved. He checked his watch. It was 11:55 p.m. The atmosphere in the room began to change. The air grew even colder, and a low hum, almost too quiet to hear, started to vibrate through the floor. Ben's EMF meter, which had been dead all night, suddenly flickered to life, its needle jumping into the red. "Oh, what is this?" he muttered, tapping the device. But it wasn't malfunctioning. At that exact moment, the old grandfather clock downstairs began to chime, its deep, resonant bongs echoing through the silent house. 1, 2, 3. On the 12th chime, a deafening silence fell, and then, it started, slowly, creakily. The rocking horse began to move on its own, rocking back and forth, back and forth. The group stared in disbelief. Then, the wooden blocks on the floor began to stack themselves, one by one, forming a wobbly tower. Maya, though terrified, kept her camera rolling, her hands shaking. The tin soldier, previously lying on its side, jerked upright, its painted-on smile now looking menacing. It began to march in a small, tight circle. Leo, Maya, and Ben were paralyzed, huddled together, unable to look away from the impossible scene unfolding before them. But the most terrifying part was the teddy bear. It slowly sat up, its head turning with a sickening tearing sound of old fabric. It raised his single paw and pointed directly at the closet door. At the same time, the jack-in-the-box, its lid still closed, began to play its tune. A tinny, distorted version of Pop Goes the Weasel. The handle turned by itself, faster and faster, the melody growing more frantic, more discordant. The explorers felt a primal fear, a sense that they were witnessing a prelude to something horrible. The music built to a crescendo, and just as the song reached its final note, the lid flew open, but nothing popped out. Instead, a child's whisper echoed from inside the box, a single, heartbreaking word, hide. Suddenly, the closet door, which the bear was still pointing at, rattled violently. It sounded like something, or someone, was trying to get out. But that wasn't right. The sound was coming from the other side. Someone was trying to get in. The doorknob twisted frantically. The toys froze, their performance halted. The rocking horse stopped, the soldier fell over, the blocks tumbled down. Everything went still, as if holding its breath. The only sound was the desperate rattling of the closet doorknob and a muffled, angry shouting from the hallway beyond the playroom. Then, A child's sob came from inside the closet. A little boy, crying in terror. The explorers looked at each other, their faces pale. This wasn't just a haunting, it was a memory, playing out right in front of them. The tragic event that had occurred in this very room, years ago. The shouting outside the playroom door grew louder, more enraged. The person was now pounding on the door, the whole frame shaking with the force of the blows. Inside the closet, the little boy's sobs turned into whimpers of pure fear. The teddy bear on the floor slowly turned its head again, its button eye now fixed on Ben. It raised its paw and pointed, not at the closet this time, but at Ben himself. Ben stumbled backward, his face ashen. "What does it want?" he stammered. The pounding on the door stopped. A key turned in the lock. The playroom door swung open with a crash, revealing nothing. Just the dark, empty hallway. But the presence that entered the room was palpable, a wave of cold fury that made the air crackle. The toys began to shake, not moving on their own, but vibrating with the unseen energy that had just entered. The unseen force moved towards the closet. The explorers could feel it pass by them, a gust of icy air that smelled of rage and stale whiskey. The closet door was flung open. Though they couldn't see anyone, they heard it all. A man's furious yell, the sound of a struggle, and the little boy's cry abruptly cut short. Then, a heavy thud, and silence. A deep, profound silence that was more terrifying than any noise. The temperature in the room dropped so low they could see their breath. The tragic loop had reached its horrifying conclusion. Slowly, the toys returned to their original positions. The rocking horse stilled. The blocks lay scattered. The tin soldier was on its side again. The jack-in-the-box lid was closed. The teddy bear slumped over, its button eye staring blankly at the floor. The playroom was exactly as they had found it. The performance was over. Until the next night, Leo, Maya, and Ben didn't wait to see what would happen next. They scrambled out of the room, down the stairs, and out of the house, never looking back. They had found their echo, a memory of pure terror, trapped in a child's playroom, forced to replay its final, tragic moments for all eternity. Performed by the silent, watchful toys who were the only witnesses. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more chilling tales. Stay safe out there.